Last Tuesday, a kid barely out of college rolled into my bay, grinning like he had robbed a bank. He had paid $9,000 for a 4x4 that will still be crawling up a mountain when every leased crossover his friends are financing is sitting in a junkyard. And here is the part that got me. He almost bought a brand new compact SUV. Instead, he would have the same money down, a payment for 6 years, and a vehicle that cannot survive a gravel road. After 23 years under these things, I have watched the market sleep on 5 trucks that do everything the expensive ones do for a third of the price. The overlanding crowd is about to ruin them for the rest of us. So today, before that happens, I am handing you all 5. Let us get into it. Number 5, Mitsubishi Montero. Number 5 is the truck nobody talks about, and that silence is exactly why you can still steal one. I'm talking about the third-generation Montero, 2001 to 2006, and specifically the 2003 and up models with the bigger engine. A buddy of mine who guides hunting trips out west called me 2 winters ago, frustrated. He'd been priced out of every 4Runner and Tacoma within 300 miles. I asked him one question: why does it have to be a Toyota? I sent him a listing for a 2005 Montero Limited with 140,000 miles for $6,800. He called me back 2 weeks later from a Forest Service road at 9,000 feet of elevation, laughing because he'd just watched a $50,000 truck get stuck behind him. Here's what people don't realize. The Montero is the same platform Mitsubishi rallied to win the Dakar Rally 7 years in a row, from 2001 to 2007. It is to this day the winningest vehicle in Dakar history. That's not marketing. That's a desert race that destroys vehicles for a living, and this thing dominated it. The 2003 to 2006 models got the Xg75 3.8-liter V6, around 215 horsepower and 248 pound-feet of torque, and it's a stout, simple engine. You get a real 2-speed transfer case, a lockable center differential, and independent suspension that articulates better than most people expect off-road. Owners on Kelley Blue Book rate this generation 4.7 out of 5, with a 4.8 specifically for reliability. 96% recommended. You will not find numbers like that on most things wearing a luxury badge. Now, the one thing that will kill a Montero is the timing belt. This is an interference engine, which means if that belt snaps, the pistons meet the valves, and you're buying a new motor. Replace it on schedule every 60,000 to 90,000 miles, and budget around $600 to $900 to have it done right with the water pump. Do that, and these engines run forever. Inspection checklist. First, ask for timing belt records and look at the sticker under the hood. If there is no proof it has been done, assume the timing belt is due and negotiate $800 off. Second, check the transmission fluid. If it smells burnt or the truck shudders on light acceleration, walk away. These Monteros can develop torque converter shudder when the fluid gets neglected. Third, avoid the 2002 model year specifically. That year had reports of engine knock from a failed rod, and it is the worst year of the bunch. Stick to 2003 through 2006. Fourth, crawl underneath and check the differential seals and the rear cam seals, which seep oil over time. These are minor issues, but they tell you how the truck was kept. The Montero is the closest thing to a discount Land Cruiser nobody has caught on to yet. If you want something with more aftermarket muscle behind it, the next one has an army of fans. Number 4, Nissan Xterra. Number 4 is the truck that off-roaders quietly hoard, and the second generation, 2005 to 2015, is the one you want. This thing was built body-on-frame, with skid plates from the factory when everyone else was going soft, and it shows. I had a customer, a single mom who worked at a ski resort and needed to get up an unplowed mountain road at 5 a.m. 5 days a week. She had been driving a front-wheel drive crossover and white-knuckling it. I put her in a 2009 Xterra off-road model with the rear locker for $9,500, 80,000 miles. 2 years later, the only thing she has spent money on is tires and one set of brake pads. Her words to me, "I'm never going back to a car that's scared of weather." Under the hood is Nissan's VQ40DE, a 4.0-liter V6 making around 261 horsepower and 281 pound-feet of torque. That's serious grunt for a truck this size, and the engine itself routinely clears 200,000 miles. The off-road trim came with an electronic rear-locking differential and hill descent control straight from the factory, which is rare at this price. But I have to be straight with you because this is the difference between a great buy and a disaster. Automatic Xterras from 2005 to 2010 have a flaw nicknamed SNEE, the strawberry milkshake of death. The factory radiator has an internal transmission cooler that can rupture, mixing coolant and transmission fluid into a pink sludge that destroys the transmission from the inside. It is the single most important thing to check on this truck. Inspection checklist. First, and I cannot stress this enough, pull the transmission dipstick and look at the fluid. If it's pink, milky, or looks like a strawberry shake, run. If it's clean and red, you're probably fine. Second, ask if the radiator has been replaced, or even better, if the owner bypassed the internal cooler with an external one. If they did, that truck is essentially immune to the problem and worth more. Third, listen for a rattle or whine from the front of the engine on a cold start. The timing chain guides are plastic and can wear if oil changes were skipped, and that's a labor-heavy fix. Fourth, replace all the ignition coils at once if one goes, never one at a time, or you'll be back in the shop in a month. Buy a manual transmission Xterra or a post-2011 automatic, or anyone where the cooling system has been sorted, and you've got a 200,000-mile trail truck for under 10 grand. Now the next two are where it gets really good. Number 3, Toyota 4Runner, 4th generation. Number 3 is a Toyota tank that the market still has not fully figured out, and that window is closing fast. The 3rd generation 4Runner has already blown past $20,000 for clean examples, so the smart money has quietly moved to the 4th generation, 2003 to 2009. Average sale price hovers around $16,000, but high mileage examples have sold for as little as $4,500, and clean drivers turn up in the $10,000 to $12,000 range all day if you are patient. A contractor I have serviced for years asked me what he should buy to last him the rest of his working life. I told him to find a 2008 4Runner with the V6, even if it had 160,000 miles on it. He found one for $11,000 at 170,000 miles. He texts me milestones now like a proud parent. He just crossed 240,000 miles. Original engine, original transmission. Over 3 years, his only repairs were a water pump and an alternator. Here's the breakdown. The standard engine is the 4.0-liter 1G RFE V6, around 245 horsepower, chain-driven, no timing belt to replace, and good for 250,000 miles plus with regular oil changes. There was also an optional 4.7-liter 2U ZFE V8, the exact same engine bolted into the Tundra and the Land Cruiser of that era. Mechanics call the V8 4Runner the grail of the used market because owners almost never sell them. If you find one within your budget, grab it. But realistically, the V6 is what you will afford under $12,000, and it is plenty. Two things to know before you buy. One, skip the 2003 model year. It is the most complained about 4Runner in the federal database, mostly for early production gremlins and rust. The 2006 facelift fixed nearly all of it, so target 2006 to 2009. 2. The V6 in this generation had a small number of head gasket cases early on, so a cold start inspection matters. Inspection checklist. First, get underneath and inspect the frame. Frame rust is the #1 killer of any 4Runner, especially in salt belt states. Surface rust is normal. Flaking, scaling, or anything you can push a screwdriver through means walk away. A clean frame truck from a dry climate is worth paying extra for. Second, check the coolant for oil and the oil cap for coolant residue on early V6 models just to rule out the head gasket. Third, the ignition coils wear out, so factor a set if it is misfiring. Fourth, pop the rear hatch and test the power window in the tailgate, a known weak point that is annoying to fix. A clean frame 4th Gen 4Runner is one of the few vehicles I would confidently tell you will outlive its odometer. But the next one is the same toughness wrapped in leather, and almost nobody connects the dots. If this is the kind of straight talk that actually saves you money, do me a favor and hit subscribe. I've got more videos coming on the truck dealers' overprice and the ones they hope you never notice. Number 2, Lexus GX470. Number 2 is the best-kept secret in the entire used 4x4 market, and I'm a little annoyed at myself for telling you because I want one. The Lexus GX470, 2003 to 2009, looks like a soft suburban luxury SUV. It is not. Underneath that leather and wood is a Toyota Land Cruiser Prado, the same global platform Toyota sends into the worst terrain on Earth. A doctor came to me wanting a Range Rover. Beautiful trucks, and I have made a lot of money keeping them running, which is exactly why I steered him away. I told him to drive a GX470 first. He scoffed, the same way that woman in my last video scoffed at the Highlander. He bought a 2007 with 150,000 miles for $11,500. He called me from a trailhead a month later and said, "Why didn't anyone tell me about this?" Because, Doc, if everyone knew, you couldn't have afforded it. Here's why it matters. The GX470 runs the 2UZ FE 4.7-liter V8, the same iron block engine in the Land Cruiser and Tundra, routinely living past 300,000 miles on oil changes and a timing belt every 90,000. It has full-time four-wheel drive with a Torsen center differential you can lock, a traction control that will claw through ruts, nearly 9 inches of ground clearance, and on the higher trims, a system called KDSS that lets the suspension flex off-road while staying flat on the highway. As Land Cruiser prices went to the moon, off-roaders realized the GX gives you about 90% of the capability for half the money, and it shares parts with the Prado, so lift kits and skid plates are everywhere. Edmunds lists deals on these starting under $7,000, with the average around $13,000, which means a clean higher mileage one lands right in your budget. Inspection checklist. First, the timing belt. It is an interference engine, so demand proof it was done within the last 90,000 miles, or budget around $900 to do it with the water pump immediately. Second, If you are looking at a 2003 or early 2004 model, check whether the dash has the optional rear air suspension and test that it rises and holds. Airbags get expensive, and many owners convert to coils. Third, look for KDSS if you plan to go off-road seriously. It is hard to spot in listings, so look for the darker wheels and trim of the sport-equipped trucks. Fourth, same as the 4Runner, inspect the frame for rust because it shares that vulnerability. Fifth, check all 4 power seats and the third row folding mechanism just to confirm the luxury bits all still work. The GX470 is the truck you buy when you want to drive into the wilderness on Saturday and pull up to a nice dinner on Monday without owning 2 vehicles. It is, dollar for dollar, the most truck you can buy for the money right now. And yet it is still only number 2, because number 1 is the one I would hand to my own kid. Number 1, Jeep Cherokee XJ. Number 1 is a legend, and the fact that you can still buy one for the price of a used economy car is one of the last great deals left in the entire automotive world. The Jeep Cherokee XJ, and I want the 4.0-liter inline-6 models from 1991 to 2001. Average market values sit around $13,000, but the truth is, clean drivers change hands in the high single digits constantly. I have seen sorted ones go for $8,500 with low miles. Rougher, honest, trail-ready ones turn up under $5,000. Let me tell you about the one that lives in my own driveway. I bought a 1999 XJ 15 years ago with 110,000 miles for $4,200. I have driven it through 3 states, towed a trailer with it, taken it down trails that scared people in trucks worth 10 times as much, and put it back to 240,000 miles. Total major repairs in 15 years? A radiator, a water pump, and a starter. That's it. People offer to buy it off me in parking lots. I always say no. Here's the engineering, because this is the heart of it. The 4.0-liter AMC inline 6 is one of the most overbuilt, forgiving engines ever bolted into a passenger vehicle. It makes around 190 horsepower and 225 pound-feet of torque, but the number that matters is the longevity. This motor regularly pushes past 300,000 miles, and it does it because it is a refined, old, low-stress design with a heavy block, a robust oiling system, and a cooling setup built for abuse. There is no turbo to fail. It is chain-driven. It tolerates neglect that would kill a modern engine. Combine that with a unibody on-frame design, solid axles front and rear, and the simplest mechanicals on the road, and you get a 4x4 you can fix in your driveway with hand tools. Now let me be the honest mechanic, because there are 2 things to know. The 2000 and 2001 models use the 0331 cylinder head, which can develop cracks. It is not a guaranteed failure, but it is the one weak spot, so a 1997 to 1999 4.0-liter is my sweet spot. And the second thing is not the engine at all, it is rust. These are 25+ years old now, and the unibody can rot in salt states. A rusty XJ is a dead XJ. A clean one is forever. Inspection checklist. First, rust, rust, rust. Check the floor pans, the rear cargo area under the carpet, the frame rails behind the rear wheels, and the rocker panels. A clean southern or western truck is worth driving across the country for. Second, on a 2000 to 2001 model, ask whether the head has ever been replaced and look for coolant in the oil or for white smoke on a cold start. Third, test the 4-wheel drive engagement. Shift it into 4 high and 4 low and make sure it engages cleanly with no grinding. Fourth, the pro tip. Find one owned by an older enthusiast who babied it as a weekend toy, not a teenager who beat it. A garage-kept XJ with service records is basically a time capsule. Who should buy it? Anyone who wants to learn to wrench, because nothing is easier or cheaper to fix. Anyone who wants a genuine trail rig that's also a usable daily driver. And anyone who's tired of car payments, because you can buy this thing outright for what other people put down on a lease. Who should skip it? If you need modern safety tech, airbags everywhere, and a quiet, cushy highway ride, this is a 25-year-old truck, and it drives like one. If you live somewhere with brutal road salt and can't find a clean one, don't buy a rusty project and expect a miracle. And if you want luxury, go back up this list to the GX470. Here's my final take on the XJ. If I had to pick one 4x4 to buy today, keep for the next 20 years, and trust to start every single morning, I'd buy another Cherokee and not think twice. It's the cheapest entry into a real solid axle. Do anything 4x4, and the market is finally waking up to that. The collectors have already started circling. The clean ones are getting bought. So there they are. 5 4x4s the market forgot, but the trail crowd did not. The Mitsubishi Montero, a Dakar champion hiding in plain sight. The Nissan Xterra, a factory-built trail truck for crossover money. The 4th-gen 4Runner, a Toyota tank with a clean frame and 250,000 miles left in it. The Lexus GX470, Land Cruiser bones under a luxury skin. And the Jeep Cherokee XJ, the most bulletproof bargain left on 4 wheels. You now know 5 4x4s you can buy for under $12,000 that will outlast vehicles costing 3 times as much. Next time a salesman tries to push you into a financed crossover that cannot handle a wet field, you will know exactly what to do. If you want to see which of these I would actually take on a cross-country overland trip with 0 backup, I broke that down in another video right here. That is 23 years of watching trucks come and go. Like it if it helped, subscribe for more of the truth the dealers will not give you. And remember, buy the clean one, check the frame, and it will take care of you for decades. I will see you in the next one.